Hello, this is a tutorial about how to make a composite image for your scientific paper. So what is a composite image? It's basically, here are some examples. It basically can show how your system evolved over time. Here is in a locomotion context, and here in manipulation, and also in aerial robots. So how do we make them? So let's get started. So the first step is to shoot the video. So first thing you need to keep in mind is the camera needs to be fixed. So the video should look like this. The subject's moving and the camera is fixed. The second point you need to keep in mind is try to include a pure background image when you're shooting the video. But in some cases it is not possible, such as here. It will be very difficult to remove the robot arm for the video shoot. So we will introduce another method to do it in post. But if you can include a pure background, try to do that. Step 2 is to extract the images from the video we just shot. So we don't want to take screenshots because we want the pixels to be aligned perfectly. So we'll use a software called VLC. It's free and open source. So here we'll open this file, the video we just shot here, and we can press the spacebar to pause and play the image. And we move to a position where interesting things happen, and we can press E to forward frames, frame by frame, so we can choose which image we want to extract. And when you find the frame you want, you can press Command, Alt, and S. It will take a image. So usually you should just press E to forward the video and find when you find it suitable, then you press Command Alt S to save it, and then you will get a bunch of images. In addition to the images you just extracted, we also need a background image. If you included that in your video, then just use the same method, extract the frame. But if you do not have the background image in your video, so we'll first use Photoshop to create a synthetic background. Create a background image is very simple. First, we import several images from the frames we extracted. Here in File, Scripts, load files into stack. We chose 2 files. Now they are loaded as 2 different layers. We chose the layer at the top and then press this button to create a mask. And then make sure your brush is black, and then remove this part. And now we have a background image. It also works for more complicated cases, for example this one. As we can see, we cannot remove the robot arm, but we can shoot multiple images and remove them step by step, and we can get a rough background image in this way too. Now we also prepare the background image. Let's start the compositing. So there are 2 methods, depending on how much overlap does your subject have. So the first method is very simple. It works for cases where there are not many overlapping. And the second method is a little bit complicated, but it works for very large overlapping. The first method works for cases where each instance is not overlapping, for example like here. The way we do it is, first, let's import all the images, including the background image, into a single PSD as different layers. Here in File, Scripts, load files into stack. Now let's hide all the layers by clicking this I button. and move the background into the bottom. Now for each individual layers, we'll do first click this button to create a mask, and then make sure the brush is black, and then we remove this instance. And then click Ctrl-I. It will inverse the mask and only leave the instance at left. So let's repeat this step for each individual layer except for the background. Now we repeated that procedure for each individual layer, we can enable them. Now we can see they are already composited together, and we can adjust the opacity of each individual instance to make your desired effect. For example, I want to make it look like it's flying towards us, so I will make the instance far away less opaque and the instance in the front 100%. We can also adjust it a little bit, make it a gradual effect. Now it looks a lot better. For cases like this one, where the subject have a lot of overlapping, then we will need another method. Now we need to move the background to the bottom here, and then disable all the other layers, and we work on each picture at once individually. So first we enable this layer, and then we change this blending mode into difference, and then we press here levels or threshold, and then adjust this cursor to make the arm barely visible. And then we'll click here levels, and then we click select color range. Then we make the color highlights. Click OK. And then we drag this mask into our original image. Then we delete all these intermediate layers. And then we change back to normal. You can see there are a lot of holes here. So selecting this this mask and make sure your brush is white, and then we can refine this mask. So make sure there's no holes. Now we repeat this process for each individual layer. Now we have done the same processing for each individual layer, we can enable them. As you can see. So here, because the video is not very well shot, so we'll only choose choose 3 images. So you can see it already have this composite effect, and just like the previous example, we can tune the opacity so it will look better. Now it looks like the arm is lowering down. Congratulations! Now you know how to make a composite image, so try it out and have fun.